So Liverpool city centre, we're in the L1 postcode, and that is, if you've ever been to Liverpool, it's lively. And we're right on Bold Street, which is the one of the most sort of central spaces in Liverpool. And you're 1 minute away from all the clubs and stuff.
Nice.
So this one's more sort of averse to it, to be honest. But I'd say to get around it, we don't really like one night stays. One night stays is terrible. I really do not advocate one night stays. So if you're planning to put your listing up, for example, and you do one night, you're just bound to get some troubles. So I do sort of like a structure. So you do within 4 nights, for example, you do 2-night minimum stay, and then within 6, you then go to like 3 nights, and then between 6 and 14, you then do like 4-night, and then above that is then 5-night minimum. But I really just try and push for longer term stays because they're the best guests. And further out, you'd want to have longer stays because you don't want to fill your calendar in a month's time with a 2-night booking, because that then wrecks your whole ability to book out a month. And so sometimes I take on people's units and they've got existing bookings in there, and I see they've got, like, for example, now they've got a 1 night in August, but they're like, no, I really want to keep that one because it's double the rate that it's going for now. I'm like, bin it off. You don't want that one. Whatever you need to do to cancel it, just get that one gone, and then we'll just open up the calendar. And trust me, you will make more with the longer term booking strategy now than having that one sort of unicorn night in there, because it's only going to be a party or something realistically.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great point. And then in terms of like noise and stuff, is there anything you can do to kind of mitigate that between the multiple units?
So I know you can get like minute alarms. We personally don't. We've got Ring doorbells though, and sometimes if you can hear music from the Ring doorbell, then you just call them and say, calm it down. But for this block in particular, it's a bit more of a free going building in terms of because it's ours. And the area we're in, we'd have pretty much no custom if it wasn't a little bit more flexible. But yeah, it's a good block, and we've got a lot of longer term stuff there, but we'd never do less than 2 nights. I'd say our average there is between 2 and 4 nights, but then we get people in there for months at a time as well.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
Good.
Yeah, and that one is up in Manchester, or I'm sorry, in Liverpool, which is near Manchester, right? And so for my US based people who aren't super familiar with the UK geography here, so you're located down in London area, which is where I was looking at the map of your properties. They're mostly all in the London area, but then you've got that one up there. So, one of the big questions that a lot of people I work with have also is around remote management. It seems daunting and seems like it would be very difficult to have a property that you couldn't get to or couldn't get to easily. So you do this from a distance. Is there big challenges with being remote, or has it ever, been an issue for you?
I've actually found forcing yourself to be remote is pretty good, to be honest. I actually prefer, like, even my local properties here, I force myself to be remote from them.
Okay.
So I try to set up the systems that mean that I don't need to go there. Just because I'm next to it doesn't mean I should have to go there. So it's just building a team everywhere. Doesn't matter if you're local or it's 100 miles away. Having a good team is essential. Because let's say, for example, I want to go on holiday, and then that weekend something goes wrong with that property. Well, just because I'm not there, have I not built the team that can help solve these problems? I don't want to be a pinch point in my business because I go away. So I imagine myself, imagine I'm in Spain. Will the business still operate if I'm in Spain? And if the answer is no, then I need to do something to fix that. And if it's yes, then happy days. But it's just building your team. I think cleaners are essential, obviously, to clean, but they just know a load of people. So handymen, A lot of the time they've got good handy. So one of our cleaners, the husband of that person is a handyman locally for a load of Airbnbs, and we've sort of just tacked onto that. Because if you're in the Airbnb space, it's very sort of everyone knows everyone, and everyone sort of likes to help out as well. So just having that really helps. And also there's a thing called Taskbird where you can just go and say, is there some jobs that need doing? And you find someone, you get their number, and then they can just help you on repeat. So it's just making sure you've built a team locally to each area so that if you're not there, then it can still run.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. And what does your team look like? I know you mentioned the handyman and cleaner. Beyond that, what is who else on your team?
So I've just hired someone,
Nice.
courtesy of you and your friend Tyler.
Nice.
So I went through them because that's originally how I found you, wasn't it? I was
Yeah.
looking at how do I structure a business or my Airbnb business. And then you started talking about, VAs and referrals and all that sort of thing. And then I found Tyler and I gave him a call. We had a chat and he found someone really good, a girl called Gabby. And she's just amazing. She comes with 6 years experience.
Wow.
She's actually teaching me new methods and processes on how she's done things with sort of other companies as well. So it's really exciting. Like so I've had a lot of my properties just in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I know everything in my head about a property, but she's then was like, Ollie, I have no idea about any of your properties. I need to learn. I was like, all right. That makes sense. So she started building this knowledge base. I can't remember what she's building it on, but is it like Fresh Desk or something like that? And it's just incredible. So she'll just come with me, ask a load of questions that she needs about who her contact details are, about like boilers, fuse boxes, where's the location of everything, what's the codes for the second lockbox in case there's a lockout, what's the strategy in case something happens. And she's just created this whole knowledge base, and I've just sort of put all onto the sheet. But it's just having a team around you now is sort of where I'm expanding into. I'm really just trying to grow my team and just grow the number of properties that I'm able to manage comfortably and also confidently. Because I wouldn't want to expand to say 50 on my own and just spread super thin. I'd rather stay at 30, have me and Gabby, and then work out that we're okay together, and then we can expand into 50, and then we can expand to 100, and then 200. And just grow the team like that instead of spreading ourselves too thin.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So you got up to 30 properties with just you handling all of the bookings, all the questions, check-in instructions, lining up the cleaners. So basically everything except for boots on the ground, you were doing the entire business.
And it takes so long. You think, it's going to take 20 minutes to do something on this one listing.
Yeah.
You times that by 30, it's a whole day.
Yeah.
Or I'm doing my payouts at the minute for February.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Even just doing that, it takes days just to do the payouts.
For your owners, you're saying?
Yeah, for the owners.
Yeah.
So having someone like Gabby who can actually run a portion of it, and she can start doing, maybe we're slacking on one area. Maybe we need to do more promotions. Maybe we need to do early bird. Maybe we need to do bigger monthly discounts. Maybe we need to just play around with the listing in some which way, which she's able to take on. And then you see an improvement in how everything's performing as well.
Yeah.
So it's, getting to 30, I wouldn't recommend it on your own.
I give you so much credit, man, because we have 34 right now. We're about to have 39. We're working on a 5-unit right now, but and we have 4 full-time people that are helping us with all the bookings and everything, and they just trade off. And we're, to be fair, we're not involved really at all in the day-to-day anymore. So that's like basically fully outsourced. But I cannot imagine having 30 of them with no support doing everything, because just like you said, like just the payments alone to cleaners. I mean, it would take several hours, on the 1st and 15th, we pay all our cleaners, and now that process is really automated. And, the more of those things you can automate, it just frees you up so much for other activities. So,
automations, they're the biggest thing. So we had a call the other day, and we were talking about Turno, and your cleans are sort of automated on Turno.
Hmm.
and mine weren't. It was all just manual. So I'd get an invoice
Wow.
from this one, this one, this one, and I'd go through and double check. And you'd find that a cleaner might have tacked on a cleaner here, or
Yeah.
it might have been wrong here. And suddenly you're just checking all that. And I thought, this is crazy. And although Turno take a fee, I think it was your advice, just swallow the fee, just for
Yeah.
the reassurance that each bill is going to be correct, and it's one less thing to worry about. And I also use this thing called SweetOp. So it's a guest portal. It's really good. And on there, it's got check-in details. It provisions like smart locks, for example, with different codes. It's got pictures, so you can say, here's how you get into each unit. You can see the Wi-Fi details. You can do upsells through it, like early and late checkout, damage deposits and waivers, ID, rental agreements. You can put videos on there. So a lot of the questions I have, especially sort of in the winter, is how do I use the heating, or the boiler's gone, how do I reset it, or something. And there's just a catalogue of videos on this portal. So I think we really spend a lot of time just developing this portal and making sure that it's fully locked in, so that if there is a question that comes up, it's just a refer back to the portal sort of thing. If there's a question we haven't answered in it, well, then we'll just get the cleaner on her next run to take a video or a picture, and then we upload it. And then it's basically a full FAQ.
Wow.
There's local attractions of what to do as well.
Wow. That's called SweetUp, you said?
SweetOp, SUITEOP.
Oh,
It's
Sweet
really good.
Up. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll put a link to that. Do you know? Is it just in the UK or is that in the
No,
US as
it's
well?
an American company.
Oh, it
So
is. Okay,
I think it's American. There's a lady called Ali over there. She's American.
got it.
But yeah, it's good. I think I was one of the first people in the UK to get it,
Mm,
which is quite exciting. And now sort of everyone over here is starting to use it,
man,
just
you
because
set
it's
a
so
trend.
good. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't think I could live without it, to be honest. I'm not sponsored by it, but it's honestly, for the scale and the usability, and just what you can do with it, it's essential for our business.
Interesting. And do you use a separate property management system then to manage the actual properties themselves?
Yeah, so I use Hostaway.
Okay.
So it's basically a load of softwares that just come together and integrate, so that all I really do in terms of sort of the operations is, or this is why I've got Gabby now, is to make sure that each listing is fully optimized and its full potential. And also that the guest's communication is on point too. So I think I need to start getting some more team members as well, just for the guest comms, because at the minute, the weekend, for example, it's my phone that rings, or after 6 o'clock, it's my phone that rings. So it's just sort of
Yeah.
developing the team out. But that will definitely come once I've learned how to work with one team member. I'm sure we can then learn to scale as well. But it's just a learning curve.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you've done it the right way. That's what I recommend to people, is like organically grow with the company. Like when we did our first one, it was in our basement, and we turned it into a 1-bedroom apartment, and my wife was down there cleaning with a 1-year-old attached to her, and we did everything. We just, with one property, we just figured it out as we went. And then organically, as we scaled, we started to add processes. And I was just like, I was like, I was local to the property. So I was doing a lot of stuff that I realized all of a sudden, this is not the best use of my time. I need to treat these properties as if they're on the other side of the world. Mm-hmm. And how would I act if they were? And now there's properties I haven't visited in over 2 years that are 20 minutes down the road because I don't need to. We have a really good system in place, which is a great thing to have. So I think that's smart, to just like scale to a point where then you start to outsource certain aspects, instead of trying to say, well, I'm going to build this massive machine from the start when you haven't done any of it yourself and you don't even know what to look for. So
yeah, I think it's definitely just building your processes. I think you have to learn some of them yourself. Like we now have, if we have lock boxes, we always have a second lock box. I remember I was down here, and we had someone, it was 11 o'clock on a Sunday in Manchester. It's about 250 miles away. And they left the key in the Uber, and we didn't have a spare key.
Oh.
And I was like, oh God, it ruined my night.
Did you drive all the way there?
No. So the homeowner lives, luckily, about, I think it's 10 miles away from there. So I called him. I was like, Luke, You're going to need to pop over. He wasn't too happy, but we did it. We charged the guests sort of a call up fee, so he got paid for it a little bit.
Yeah.
But now every single place, before I take it on, have you got a second lockbox? No.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting it before it goes live, just because you get a little bit of trauma, a little bit of scars from each thing.
Absolutely. I've been there. So I want to talk about direct bookings, because most people I know that do this say they get 80-90% of their bookings from Airbnb or Vrbo or booking.com, and then a tiny bit of direct bookings. But you're kind of opposite. It looks like I saw on your website, it says 54% of your bookings are direct, which that's a huge amount.
For that, it's 54% of revenue is direct.
Oh, okay.
So I try to get, I think Airbnb and Booking.com are really good marketing tools. They spend billions on marketing so that people book through their website. Now there's different tactics to make people book direct. Hope they're not listening around.
Yeah.
But there's different tactics you can do to make sure if it's on a tile, for example. I don't know. There's definitely tactics you can use to make sure that they come direct.
Yeah. Well, I know that like a lot of people, even on your listing pictures, I see the branding of Perfect Booking right on the front. So if a lot of people, if they see that, they're like, oh, Perfect Booking, maybe I'll just Google that and see what comes up, and then they book directly because it's a lot cheaper for them in a lot of cases.
Airbnb, for example, you can have your logo and really present as a company. And then in your bio, you might say, hey, I'm Ollie, I run Perfect Booking. Have you explored us? Have you explored to see what else we've got? And then they might, search Perfect Booking, or, if someone is looking for something to do, Perfect Booking in wherever. And then I'll be at the top of the page. So I think in terms of the name as well, I quite like my name, because everyone thinks, where's the perfect place to stay, or where's the perfect this, or, but there's definitely ways to do it. Even if you just speak to them and say, hey, are you looking to extend your stay? It's good you're staying with us now for these 2 days or whatever, but would you like to extend? And they'll say, actually, yeah, we only booked 2 days because we wanted to extend, direct and see what you could do.
Yeah.
So you got to really reach out to every single customer, but it's also the repeat business as well is a major thing. So in this suite op, it's got a section which is sort of additional questions that you ask. And I ask everyone, what's your first name, last name, phone and email? And are you here for business or leisure? And now I've got 2 lists of business people and leisure people. And I know exactly where they've stayed. I know their first name, last name, phone and email. So I can just do direct marketing to these people. And we then get a lot of repeat business because, a lot of roofing companies, for example, or flooring companies or carpentry, or I don't know if you've got Nando's or anything over there. It's a chicken shop. It's a really famous chicken shop. And I've got a 5-bed house in Tunbridge Wells, and they just put their whole crew in there, and they actually found us direct because they searched Perfect Booking. You just search the name on Airbnb, my Airbnb name is Perfect Booking. You just go into Google, you search it, and suddenly you can find the property. It's not hard to do it, but it's just making sure that people, you don't push them through the door, but you make sure the door's there.
Yeah.
Just so they can then go through. But a lot of repeat business, making sure that if someone's in, like we've just had someone, for example, he's been on and off for a week. He's in the process of buying a house, but he's staying at one house for one time and then coming back to ours for a week at a time. And he booked an Airbnb to start, but then we've had him for the last 3 weeks, just direct. So in terms of revenue, it's about, I think it is 54%. But in terms of bookings, I think it's probably maybe 30% of all bookings. But it's just the reconversion that we get. And also we try to do it for the bigger, because obviously these companies don't want to be spending loads of money, like doing months at a time, just spend all those fees. So they maybe do like a week, and then you sort of have a chat with them, and they say, all right, we want to extend, and then you
Yeah.
just sort of you capture them from there.